That's fast. Hey everybody, welcome to Xbox Nation, home of the Xbotiest bunch of Xbots you ever did meet. We got Iron Wolf, Too Much Damn Food, Titanfall Princess. Make sure mic check Titanfall Princess. You make sure you got your voice changer activated.
Smartass. Go make me a sandwich. We can run a podcast. Just go make a sandwich, okay?
You tell him, Nance.
Mooch, take over. Mooch, take over.
Oh no! That's not how it works around here.
It's great.
If I say so, it does.
No, that's not how it works. And we got Mooch, and all your Mooch maniacs will be happy to hear that. How you guys been doing, man? What you guys been playing? Did you guys play that Unravel game?
No, I actually watched you play it. I'm waiting to see more gameplay and whatnot.
Later on in the game, the puzzles get very difficult.
That's good. I believe it. I mean, if it's anything like my tax form, then I might not want to pick it up.
Here's the thing. Like, I'm excited about games like this. Like, I like it because there's been an oversaturation of these type of games. Like, you could say there's maybe too many indie games. Like, every indie game nowadays is what, like a puzzle platformer, right?
Yep.
So it would be easy to lose this one in that group of games, but it's a really good game. It has a really good story. It's like very charming, but some of the puzzles on it and the physics behind those puzzles are just like they piss you off, So if you play it, just I don't know if you're a dumbass like me, just make sure you have like a walkthrough or something so you can just that's how you do that shit, because otherwise you're gonna be stuck on that stuff for hours. It's like what's essentially like a 4 or 5 hour game. You're stuck there for like 3 hours on a level, you know what I mean? That's how they get you. They're like, hey, let's how can we make this game last longer? Let's give them this impossible ass puzzle where they're gonna have to think about it, because there's some people out there that refuse to look up walkthroughs. You know what I mean? They'll just sit there and suffer and suffer and suffer on these games, and so I think that that's interesting. But it is.
Well, I'm kind of glad. I'm glad they're making a push for this game anyway, because like a lot of indies get pushed way too much, and this I don't even look at it as an indie. It's more of a AA kind of game. EA are publishing it at the end of the day, so that's the way I see it.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think that I like that EA's taken kind of this chance with this smaller title. You know what I mean? And it's definitely worth, I think, checking out. It's only, if you're an EA Access member, it's like $17.
Yeah.
I mean, my whole thing with Unraveled is if it came out about 3.5, 4 weeks ago, I'd probably be all over it crap. My thing is this. It came out the same day as the Dying Light, the following.
Oh, yeah.
Which I played, a good 3 hours last night. It's fantastic. If you like the original story, you'll like this. Now, before I give a full critique of it, I'd like to play, a little bit more. But getting back to Unravel, my issue with it is it's basically a prettier Limbo. And with it coming out with all this, the Dying Light game is bringing us right into the Division. Division is bringing you right into Quantum Break. It's not that Unravel is going to take forever to play, but I can't see putting the others down. If it only came out 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it would have done significantly better. And that's coming from me as the consumer. I can't speak for everybody, but I think a lot of people tried it on EA Access. I think a lot of people are discussing it based off the first 2 levels. But I don't know many people that own it. I know a lot of people that tried it.
Yeah. You know what? I know you're a big Dying Light fan because you and Worry and the rest of the people I know play it. I think Southbound and stuff too, right?
Yeah, South's on there too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, you guys are all real good friends playing that game, and it's kind of like that Dead Island, right? You guys, you into Dead Island?
I played Dead Island. I beat Riptide, both those games twice. I love. Here's the thing about it that's great. Listen, the story. There is a story present. It's a decent story. But you don't have to sit there and glue into the story. The minute the guy's done or the woman's done rambling on the story, your mission pops up. You just like other games. You capture many different missions, and you can scroll through to pick the one you want to play. But what's great is the mission, the mini map, everything's there, so you can kind of break off. And now with this Dying Light, the following, you get these buggy cars, and the world is massive. And listen, this is the first time that a company, I think, prove me, you guys know a lot more, you guys really keep track of this even more than I do, that they went in and did a graphical boost. The game is gorgeous. I mean, it looked good before. Now it's gorgeous. The trees are really moving, the grass is flowing back and forth, there's not that glitchiness between hitting the zombies like there used to be. It's much more crisp. And somebody told me this, and I don't know why my eyes couldn't focus in on it. I believe it's 60 frames now. Someone told me it's 60 FPS now. I thought it was still 30, but maybe someone in the chat or can tweet us if it is.
Dying Light is a very good game. I agree. I've been playing with Wolf with that.
Yeah, I think
we
the game
got a
is
lot of
pretty
people
awesome.
playing it.
You know, they even have some graphical kind of settings. I wouldn't say like, oh, it'll boost it to 4K or whatever, but you could get rid of the film grain, which I hate film grain in games. Like I think I saw in the Evil Within, it was on that game and a few other games. I hate film grain.
And you know,
You lose
that's
the
awesome.
clarity of the picture. You know what I'm saying? And with this setting, you could get rid of it and it looks more cleaner.
Yeah, it does. It looks
I love
very
that
nice.
right there. What they're doing is catering to people just like Wolf. Like, there's some people that actually enjoy that. They like that whole cinematic feel. But I think that's really cool that they're actually giving us the option. And you know, we're kind of used to that whole PC-esque feel since we have DirectX 10 on or DirectX 12 and Windows 10 on our console. But like, you know, I think this further proves CrapGamer's whole point of it playing in 1080p. Because, I mean, they're allowing you to tweak it, so there has to be a way to make the game run and look better on the console.
Yeah, what do you guys think about, what was it, like $30 for the expansion, though?
That's a lot.
Well, if you got it before, like, January 8th or January, I don't know what the date was, it was $19.99. The reason they justified it, and you know what, they didn't get any backlash for this because they came out, they gave everybody 6 weeks' notice. The season pass has been $19.99 since January 2015. Okay, so you had a year and change. What they did was, instead of just making some run-of-the-muck DLC, they went through and fine-tuned the whole game. So even if you don't buy the DLC, if you pop in Dying Light right now, there's still a huge, I think, 17 gig update to your vanilla. We'll call it the vanilla Dying Light, and it graphically boosts the game. So they did a lot of work, and this DLC is rumored to be a good almost 15 hours. So it's not like you're getting chump change. They did say because of the graphical boost and the content they're giving you, they felt it was very justified for them to go back up to go to a $29.99 price tag. But they gave 3 weeks notice saying we'll still honor the $19.99 price. And I bought it the minute I saw that warning go up. Then I was like, oh, I better buy this now because why pay $10 extra? That's just literally opening your window and throwing it out there when they give you 3 weeks. So some people who are catching on to it now and be like, oh shit, I didn't even know this was coming out. Now they're paying $30, but rightfully so. You are getting a lot of content. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
15 hours.
Sorry to interrupt.
No,
With
go
that
ahead.
17 gigs, I heard they also gave you one of the expansions with it for free too.
Yes, you got one of the initial parts of the season pass. I don't remember which part of it, but you also got some content with it as well. So I mean, you are getting a lot for this game. And look let's just call a spade, people. Oxenfree was $20. It's 4 hours. People were talking about it for 2 fucking weeks. This is 15 hours. And it's $30, you know, and you I don't know. I think it's I think it's something. If it's something you like, you can go get it. I would have liked to have promoted it a little bit. You can say, you know, $19.99 was a better price, but you know, it is what it is now. I can't, you know.
I mean, it's not that bad of a deal.
It's definitely a game that you enjoy with your friends, and it's got a great looting system. You know, you could like give weapons to your friends. You know, like in Destiny, you can't even do that. You can't even give a weapon that you have.
You can
I would love to give my weapons to my friends, so they could like use it in missions and shit. But in this one, you can do it, but you have to be a certain level before you do it, which ain't too bad after all. So that's one of the reasons I really love this game. It's the fact that it has all those perks.
I mean, and they really covered their ass, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, it's really appreciated. They didn't have to do that. That's the thing. And I know as gamers, we're not used to that. We're not used to being told, hey, ahead of time, you know, look, in a few days we're going to be bringing up the price. You might want to get it now. This is why. Like, they didn't have to do any of that. Usually we just get, you know, a price increase and no explanation. So, yes, having to spend an extra $10 does suck, but I think it's justified in this scenario.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got enough people here. The main thing I wanted to talk about or hit on, but I wanted to wait for everybody to kind of get in here and join us, and we're over 200 now. So would be this Titanfall 2 situation, right?
Oh, holy fuck! Don't get me started on that. If that's the truth, man, they can kick my fucking ass. I'm serious. That pissed me off. I'm very pissed off about what I heard today.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We're getting a lot of different information about these things. it looks like it's going to be multi-platform. It's going to be on PS4, Xbox One, PC. What that means for the dedicated servers, I don't know, but apparently it's going to have a quote-unquote robust campaign, instead of just campaign elements like the other one, because they did seem like they had a good story to tell with the first one, but you're like, what the hell is going on? Because there was no story. It would have been great to have a story, and I thought it was one of the best games as far as mechanics and things like that goes, but they didn't have any kind of actual story to go on, or characters. You just had these random people popping up telling you to do something or whatever. It just wasn't exactly an interesting thing. And then they damage control why they don't have the story. Well, because quote unquote this percentage of gamers don't even play the campaign. Well, the first thing I do when I play Halo, Gears, Call of Duty, I always hop on the campaign first and finish that, and then I'll hop into the multiplayer. It's just how I play. So
you get a good feel for it. That's how you get a good feel of the mechanics before you jump in there.
Exactly, and so that's what I always do. And so I was disappointed that we had to pay $60 for Titanfall, and I complained about this originally. Like, games that are only one or the other, single player or multiplayer only, shouldn't be $60 in my opinion. So we paid $60 for it. It didn't have private lobbies at the launch or anything like that. Now it's probably the smoothest game multiplayer-wise that you could play, but at launch it really wasn't. And so now it seems like it's going to be multi-platform, and EA is going all in on it, right? They're getting their own toy line. They're getting their own TV series. Obviously it's probably going to be multi-plat. Those two things, to me, means that it's going to be, EA is really going to push this game to be like biggest Call of Duty. That's what they want. The first one at the beginning of the generation, I think they were like, well, we could take a risk. You have to remember at the time, there wasn't that big of a difference between PlayStation 4s and Xbox One sold, because it came out in March of 2014. You're only literally a handful of months into the generation, right? Now you're looking at it at significant, at least 10 million difference. EA sees those 10 million. How are you going to pass up? Probably, let's just say there's 30 million install base of PS4, because there's no way that there's 35, 36. Just no fucking way. But let's just say 30 million for short that actually own one in the house. That's tougher for EA to kind of overlook. They see Battlefront selling well on the platform. They see Madden selling well, or FIFA selling well, and they say, hey, Titanfall can sell well there too. You know what I mean? Maybe Microsoft didn't even get a choice. But I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this, if true?
I would have thought Microsoft would have first dibs on the game, regardless.
That was my thought too, Wolf. I agree with you.
Kind of like what happened with Destiny. I thought they would have got first dibs, and obviously 500 million was way too much to market this game, so they went with Sony, and Sony got the marketing rights for this game. But all in all, with Titanfall 2, I don't know, man. I guess it makes sense in some way, but Microsoft have to make a move, get a time exclusivity deal with this game, and hopefully they'll use those dedicated servers and cloud computing, because I just don't want the Xbox One version of this game to be pushed back. The potential of the Xbox One to be pushed back, because of parity or some shit like that.
Man, I mean, I understand the business aspect behind it. Like, they want this to compete, like, as a household name, because I hear grandmothers and moms and dads, they know what Call of Duty is, and they want this to compete with it. So from a business aspect, I understand. They want this to be in every house possible. And I don't think it's just the competitor side of things. This could potentially go onto other platforms if, the NX arrives and they have a dev kit for it. But I understand the business side behind it, but I don't think that it's going to necessarily grow as a franchise going on to that particular console. I mean, I think it'll probably sell like 800,000, and that's it. Like, that fan base, they don't play those type of games. They're not hardcore. They play their casuals, they play their indies, they play multi-plats like, FIFA and, Madden and so forth, but they're not very hardcore, so I don't see them really buying that. Like, I honestly feel like with Xbox having the smaller install base, I honestly feel that, Titanfall 2 will sell on the Xbox One 3-1 in comparison to the PS4.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a situation where PS4 owners see? I think that it'll do well, and I think that and this could be a little bit, hey, I'm the bad guy here, devil's advocate. I think it could actually sell better on the PS4 since it has the opportunity to.
Why would it sell? Yeah, but why would it sell better? They don't even play games like that. I mean, you just heard Food say it. They really don't. They play indies and they play their other games. They don't play games like this. They really don't. So I don't understand how it would sell better on
play
the
weirdo
PS4.
games.
There's a lot of things that are going against your comment, Crap. And I know you're just doing that, to
it's devil's advocate, really.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the worst controller in that category for that kind of game. A, B, they really don't have that kind of clientele. We can see by the Call of Duty, software sales have been in favor of Microsoft, even with the marketing deal Sony has. I do believe, I will say this much, just to put a little bit of a silver lining on everything for people listening. I do think Microsoft has the marketing rights on lockdown. That's just something I've heard.
I have a feeling they have marketing rights too. Yeah.
I hope they really do just keep it as just rumors, because if not, excuse me everybody, but fuck Titanfall 2. I'm not pissed. Fuck Titanfall 2.
Oh,
that's ridiculous.
Phil was doing his question and answer thing, just sporadically the other night, and I thought, oh, this is a great time to do this. And look, I'll take, not that Phil is like, oh, hey, Mooch, what's up? But I said to him, is there any chance that you're gonna pull a last-minute executive decision? I said, like in the case of the first one, where you locked down Titanfall 2, and he didn't respond to me. And I'm looking at it as, here's my devil's advocate crap. I'm looking at it as no answer, being like maybe there's an announcement. I just think that Microsoft, we've said this on a number of different titles, but I think if they don't lock this down, where they're going with this, I just can't see how you're trying to tie Xbox One and Windows 10 together when you had this game that could do that. And people are like, oh my god, it would be so expensive and this and that. Not really. I mean, it would probably, even if it cost them $200 million to lock it down. I mean, at this point, that's the only. If you went up with a microphone like every asshole did on GameSpot and IGN before the consoles came out this generation, and they're like, what would you gonna buy, a PS4 or an Xbox One, whatever? And everyone's like, oh, PS4, I'm buying a PS4. Of course, I'm buying a PS4. Now if you went up to PS4 owners and you said Titanfall 2 is going to Xbox One exclusively, would you consider it? The pompous assholes are going to say no, but they're lying. It would actually bring people to come buy the console, and that's. I
agree with you.
Yeah, it's a household name. I say this on a lot of shows, but it's got to sink in, and I'm hoping that I always hear through the grapevine that maybe Mike Ibarra or maybe Aaron Greenberg even hears 5 minutes of our shows. He catches things. Maybe Phil. I don't see why you wouldn't invest in that to try and get more. It's all about getting the console, the box, or as everybody likes to say, the piece of plastic into people's homes, okay? And if you want to get that into people's homes, the only way to do it, listen, Quantum Break has everybody on this panel, and 80% of the people listening, because the other 20% are haters, are excited for Quantum Break. But the casual gamer who just buys Call of Duty, the Call of Duty customer, okay, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, every Call of Duty customer knows what Titanfall is. But not every Call of Duty player knows what Quantum Break is. And we all have to realize that. And I'm sure somebody in marketing should be telling Phil, if they're not, hire me. Because I'll tell you right now, someone should be tapping you on the shoulder saying,
I agree.
I mean, you got to be able to get that in there. And then you want to do the big Windows 10 reveal, Windows 10 gaming. You can play with the Xbox One. You can do this. Well, what game are we all going to do that with? Fable Legends? Really? Really, I'm going to chase around the villain? Not really. But I am going to pick up my controller on a Windows 10 device and play Titanfall with my Elite controller against another Elite controller on an Xbox One. It ties the community together. It brings the community together, and it brings Sony people over to Xbox because they've already waited 3 years. They don't want to wait another 3 years for Titanfall 3, if that'll even come.
Well,
also, just on that note, when you were talking about Phil, I meant to say this, but I don't want to cut you off, Mooch. Phil really needs to, and I hope he's listening, needs to secure more shit and really keep it Xbox. Honestly, I don't care about anything else. He really needs, like you said, you want to get the, as they call it, plastic in the house. Well, secure more games, and people will have to buy the Xbox if they want the games.
Yeah. Hey, well, let me ask you this, Nancy. Weren't you in a party with Phil at one point?
Yes.
And what did you say to Phil? Why don't you tell us that story real quick?
Oh God, I told him he needs to. Honestly, I came right out and told him he needs to secure Titanfall 2. And he says, well, I got to talk to some people. And I said to him, I said, well, Phil, I am the Titanfall princess, and tell them if they don't secure it, I'm going to bring the Titan down on their ass. And Iron Wolf was right there. Ask him. He could tell you exactly what I said, because after everything was said and done, he said, I can't believe she had the balls to even say that.
You got to, man. He needs that input, and they like feedback.
Yeah, not to cut you off real quick, I also told him about the Upload Studio, the issues with the Upload Studio. Nobody would say nothing. And as soon as I said that, about 5 people chimed in and said, oh, yeah, Phil, she's right. I have an issue with that. I have an issue. Then other people started chiming in.
Yeah. Well, you can't be afraid to speak your mind, because the only way that you get, as Xbox fans, we've always been able to speak our mind to say, hey, we have a problem with this, we have a problem with that, can you guys fix it? As Xbox fans, I think that's what separates us from the primates of the PlayStation fans, is they don't actually complain or ask Sony to fix anything, because they want to act like everything's just, fucking perfectly fine. Everything's just perfectly good. Sony never does any wrong. PS4 is great. Sales. You know what I mean? And so that's basically how that goes along. So I'm glad that at least Xbox fans have enough fucking gumption and balls to say, hey, I don't like this. Look, I'll be the first one to sit there and talk and say, hey, if Microsoft messes up and does this, and this and puts this game and this game and this game on PC, I'm out as an Xbox fan. I'm out.
Yeah,
completely.
I agree
I'm done.
And
I've said it.
The one thing Phil did say is that he does like when people, tweet him with issues, or we send messages to Xbox themselves telling us what our issues are. He told me straight out that he likes that. He said, we care. He said, but you can't just have 1 or 2 people, like that's an issue with only 1 or 2 people. If everybody feels this way, people got to start sending more messages. That's how we make things better.
Yeah, and I reached out to him twice, and both times he took care of me. I told him about my remote. I had another remote coming in the mail. I told him about an issue that I had with my console. He had me call him in his office. So, he does care, and he does pay attention and he listens. So it doesn't go in through one ear and out the other. And another thing that I wanted to say was that, I really do think that they do need to lock it down, even if it costs even more money, even if it's at a loss, because it's like what Mooch said about getting gamers to come over to that console, to the Xbox One. It's like what Crap Gamer was talking about on his video, I believe, yesterday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Crap, but that Gears of War brought gamers over to the 360. Yeah. Halo brought people over to the OG Xbox, and I feel like Titanfall got people to buy Xbox One consoles.
I bought one because I saw that. I mean, that was like the new IP for the reason that I bought one. You know what I mean? Like, it was like there was a bunch of stuff that it launched with. Obviously, bringing Killer Instinct back was instrumental. Dead Rising 3 looked great. Forza 5, of course. You know what I mean? Rise looked fantastic, but it was like Titanfall was that big multiplayer game that I wanted.
Yeah. Not to cut you off, I think it was you. I think it was you, the one that told me that Titanfall has actually moved more units than Halo 5.
Absolutely.
And from the moment that happens, that's when you've got to lock down Titanfall 2. Exactly. And if they don't do that, I look at this as a missed opportunity, because if you really want to push the Xbox One and Windows 10, this is the way to go.
Yeah, and see, you're putting it nicely. Like those words, those stats should scare you. I feel like you're putting it nicely. To me, is if you don't do it, it's an embarrassment. Like, how is it that you're not being able to retain such a valuable IP that is outselling and selling more consoles on top of that than your main title, the title that everybody knows you for? Put more money into it. You're a company that is worth more than EA, that could buy EA if you wanted to. Buy the damn game, buy the IP, throw out whatever dollar amount they need.
They're also worth more than Sony too. On top of that, EA and Sony could probably buy both of them out.
Hell, they could even buy Japan if they want.
And they could buy 33.
If
they don't want to buy that trash.
Listen, if the game is really going to come out this holiday, let's talk another oddity. Maybe possibly we may see the rumor is, right, Crap, we've heard this from a numerous amount of sources. If the Xbox One Slim is to come out this upcoming holiday, maybe it won't be only Gears 4 that gets a custom console. Maybe if Microsoft doesn't have the exclusivity as console exclusive, they may get the marketing rights and might actually make for once a Titanfall console and a Slim. I mean, if they do things like that, and don't forget the install base and the brand is still associated with Xbox. So, all these people, remember everybody, I'm just going to go buy it for PC. You're a liar. You didn't buy it for PC. You know what I mean? Either you're a PS4, fanatic and you didn't buy it at all. So I think if they can brand it, still like it's an Xbox item with marketing, I mean, it still has some legs. As far as technologically, we're kind of screwed because we're going to lose the Azure cloud. Yeah. We're going to lose the dedicated servers. The game's going to become vanilla as far as the online.
We're going to lose DirectX 12 support.
Not necessarily. But, yes, I agree with you, Food. But because, for example, the Dying Light devs came out and said that there's a chance. They're looking into it. They're not making any promises. But they may tweak the Xbox One version in the upcoming months with some DX12 enhancements. So they can still do that, but I do agree with you. They won't.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this real quick, because we all, I guess, have played Titanfall and played a lot of it. One of the things that we hear a lot from Sony fans is no parity, right? Wouldn't it be shitty? Let's just put it that way. Technically, from a technical standpoint, if Titanfall 2 goes to the PS4 as well, and because of that fact that they aren't using the Azure clouds anymore, but use rather EA's servers, which are hideous and not exactly what I would consider real dedicated servers to begin with, isn't that bad? I mean, if we want no parity, which I'm all for no parity, right? If you can use the Xbox One's rumble triggers, use it. If you can use the PS4's little gay light on the thing, use it. You know what I mean? If you can use Xbox One's Azure cloud, use it. I'm for that. If a game can be 1080p on PS4, fine. I don't care about that. I think most Xbox gamers don't. You know what I mean? But use what these consoles offer, no parity. You know what I'm saying? There is no reason why an Xbox One version of a game should suffer on shitty servers just because PSN sucks. You know?
It's because we don't have game developers that have that freedom. We got publishers that only care at the end of the day about the dollar amount that they're gonna see an increase to their shares for their shareholders, and they just want to do anything that's gonna save them $1. And I think by moving over to the PS4, it's like it's a double threat. Because they get to increase their install base for who they're going to sell it to, and then on top of that, they have to give it less features. And Titanfall 2, I guarantee, will have less features, like technical features, because it's going to be on the PS4. So they save money and they're making more. Like that's
honestly, I agree with you on part of that, but not the other part, because like we were talking about before, if you secure it. And those people who do want to play it on the PS4, the few that do want it, will come over and buy an Xbox and still buy the game, so they're not going to lose money that way. It's actually still a win-win for them.
Hey, you know what? This is something that I've learned, right? Xbox fans, and I follow a lot on Twitter. What Xbox community is very tight-knit, right? And the reason for this is because when you first bought an Xbox One, you were ostracized, you were hated on, you were like a beat dog, right? And so that brought everybody really close together, but then you have, time starts to heal wounds and you start to branch out. I think most Xbox owners buy a PS4 at some point. I think they do. I did. Mooch did. I think Too Much Food, you had one, but you sold it already.
Yeah.
Iron Wolf, you've had a couple of them and sold them both. I don't think you've had one yet, Nancy, but we're not afraid to buy that because we buy games, and it doesn't really matter the platform. It might not be our favorite platform, but we're not afraid to go buy that. If we want something, we're not going to make petitions. We're not going to bitch about it and complain and say, hey, get this game over here. We're going to go buy whatever. Like if I really wanted to play Street Fighter 4, I'm not going to be like, damn, I'm going to fucking, I'm going to complain and start petitions and cry and bitch at Microsoft because they didn't get this game. What I'm going to do is go, hey, I'm going to get a PS4. Now, I bought a PS4 for Uncharted 4. You know what I mean? So I think that speaks for itself. And I bought all the consoles whenever they come out or whatever, you know what I mean? Just because I don't want anything exclusive for me except for PC because that shit's gay anyway. But, you know, I just think that it comes down to...
My point was what I was saying. If you're a true gamer, you're going to buy the other console. So why not let them buy the Xbox and keep it exclusive?
Because the difference between the Xbox fans that will buy PS4s is these hardcore Sony fans will not, for whatever reason, they refuse to buy Xboxes. I don't know the reason.
They're not gamers, bro. That's all there is to it, bro. They're not gamers.
And they're not hardcore gamers. I agree. They're not hardcore gamers. They don't play real. Not how many of them are going to play a game like Titanfall? They're not. So where are they thinking they're going to get the extra money from? They're not.
You know why they bought that? To play Netflix, to have a Blu-ray player, and occasionally
Pornhub, all that stuff, right?
They're not gonna play it. To pay an extra $20 a month, $50 a month to play their PS3 games that they already own. Like the thing is that they're not gonna play it, and that's why you're saying if they're real gamers. But that's my whole point. They are not real gamers. Look at the sales numbers. I believe it was one of your videos again, Crap. It could be a week ago, a month ago. I forget.
I got some compelling videos on my channel, motherfucker.
And it could be one of your videos. I can't remember exactly when, but you had a really good point. How we have the smaller install base. Let's just say that they do have 55 million or 45 million, whatever it is, and we have a paltry 19 million, 20 million. Then why are we selling more units of games than the PS4? Like, because we have gamers on our side. That's all there is to it. So let's just say you had that install base. Why is nobody buying any games?
I will say that it is a piss poor game install. Attach rate? Yeah. It's a really piss poor attach rate for PS4 owners, and I'm not understanding why it's like that. I'm not understanding why they don't have.
It's probably got something to do with the fact that everyone says this and they say it like it's a positive thing, but they say they have the casual gamer now, right? The casual gamer buys 3 games a year. I mean, and I think I'm being generous. So
and it's not, Mooch, it's not only that. Besides that, it's that the people who support the exclusives that are on Sony aren't Sony fans. They are actually people from the Xbox community who are true hardcore players that like certain exclusives. I was told on the video that I did that I have more games on the PS3 and the PS2 than most PlayStation owners have.
That's probably true.
Yeah, you have an impressive collection, Nancy, but I think the main reason is because Xbox guys are more financially stable.
That's right.
We buy games.
Yeah, you got a point there.
On top of that, we buy games and we're more mature. That's just the way it is. We're not afraid to buy, a PS4 or Wii U or whatever. Those guys, they could only afford to buy one console, and that's just the way it is.
And how many of these things are sitting in a storage right now in the back of GameStop? Just think about that.
There's a lot. This is what I said too. Like I said, if there's, I don't know how many GameStops there are, like 500,000 or whatever. But if there's 25 PS4s sitting at each of those, then you do the math. You know what I mean? There's a lot. I'm not saying that there's not that many Xbox Ones as well, but I'm just saying anybody that actually believes that there's 36, 37 million PS4s in people's homes is absolutely ludicrous and needs to go check themselves in the funny farm because they're crazy. Now let me ask you guys one more question regarding this Titanfall 2 information. Given the push that EA is giving it, it's pretty obvious they want it to compete against Call of Duty, right?
Yeah, I think they want to go head-to-head with Call of Duty.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: by having it multi-platform, will you guys still get it if it's using on the Xbox One Azure servers?
Yes.
Even if it's on PS4?
Yeah.
Nah, because I don't know about that.
Here's the thing, Nancy. I know you're saying no, but I really hope that you change your mind when time comes. You know why? Because you're a real gamer, and I hope you stay true to you yourself said you're a real gamer, so I hope you stick true to that because you shouldn't have to not be able to enjoy your favorite franchise just because of some dumb political stuff. Like, it's going to be a good game, and we should support it on our preferred console, and then when the sales numbers come in, and ours is 3-1 in comparison to theirs, everything will be all said and done, and hopefully in the future, Microsoft will purchase the damn IP, like we've seen with Gears.
Well, the thing is, I feel that the reason I said no is because I feel that the game is going to suffer if it goes multiplat. I really do.
I think so too, but we gotta prove them wrong. We gotta prove them that we're still the best console to sell for.
Yeah, I'm definitely buying the game. You gotta. Here's the thing, Nancy. I enjoy Titanfall. I have ridiculous amounts of hours put into that game. Like I'm definitely gonna get to it too. And listen, here's the thing. If Microsoft does get the marketing rights, and I do think that there's people who write me all the time, crap. You must get this even more. There's some people telling me that Titanfall 2 may be like not two different games, the same game, but may still use on Microsoft's side may still use the Azure cloud. And I don't know. I mean, I don't see how they're going to technologically do that and keep the same ecosystem and all, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, I can't see not buying it. And I got news for you. I'm done. I'm done with Call of Duty. I didn't buy Call of Duty last year.
I did. What a mistake.
Yeah, I know. You've said it in a couple videos now, Crap, so at least you're man enough to say I've only got, like, level 10 on my multiplayer character. Because, like, to be honest with you, it's over. Like, people don't understand. Like, Call of Duty's over. Like, it's not even fun anymore. I bought Call of Duty every year except for this past year. So you can't say I don't know. I know. I played ridiculous amounts. The only reason my gamer score isn't high enough is because years ago, that's all I fucking played was Call of Duty.
I have 32 days in Call of Duty 4. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. So I'm with you. They didn't have any achievements for that. Like, I'm surprised mine's where it's at. My gamer score, like, not that I think that that's an indication of who's a gamer or not, because I have buddies that have like 4,000 or 5,000 gamer score because all they do literally is play multiplayer stuff. You know what I mean? Right. But they've been gaming just as long as I have on Xbox consoles. Just they play multiplayer specifically, whereas I branch out and play pretty much everything except for weirdo stuff. And I think that. That's a good tell of the tape. But I do think it's funny when people are like, "Crap gamer, you're not a gamer," and I'm like, "Bitch, I'm the one with all the consoles, and you're the one with only one, refusing to buy anything else. Yeah, you're gonna sit there and say I'm not a gamer. I got a fucking over 100,000 gamer score. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing that I gotta prove to any of these morons at this point.
You know how I know Crap Gamer's a gamer? Because he bought a PS Vita, and I don't know anybody who bought one.
Oh, I bought one.
Yeah, with that 100,000 gamer score, that you got, think about how many games that is. That's a lot of games.
Well, dude, I was showing off some of my. I got to get, man. The next things on my list are getting a good camera and a good lighting system, so I could show off my room. I've got like over 500.
Show you some good stuff because I'm actually shopping for some myself, man. I could show you some good stuff.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is I have over 500. My biggest collection is the 360, obviously, and my most favorite. I have over 500 games for that, so I really want to show that off. It's like I got this whole, like, so many different exclusives and probably some rare games too that some people wouldn't know about. It's like if I had time, I would review all of them. I don't care who else would watch it, man. I would just review every 360 game I have, man. It'd be like that would be like the goal, but people probably wouldn't care, you know what I mean? But for me, that's what I love that console so much. I'm not saying that this console generation is bad, but it's just, to me, it doesn't have the same kind of zing that last generation had. You know what? I'm looking at my trends on Twitter right now, and one of them is Firewatch, and I swear I'd rather watch paint dry or grass grow than play that fucking game. Yet here it is trending. It used to be we'd hear trending Halo or Call of Duty or these big games, and now we get these freaking little shit games that you could literally played 2 generations ago, but now it's like, I guess because hipsters or millennials or whatever are like, oh man, this is cool. You know what I mean? It's like soccer cars, man. Hey Mooch, guess what? Soccer cars is coming. Aren't you excited?
Oh, buddy, you have no idea. I'm getting bribed by everybody to do it.
Dude, I see people are like, soccer cars, Mooch. You gonna play it? You gonna play it? I'm like,
Come on, Mooch, we know that's your favorite game coming. Come on now.
Look, if I'm gonna do it, maybe we'll do that crap. Maybe we will get on there and just do a Twitch. You know how many people would tune in just to hear the commentating we would do back and forth on that?
Oh my god, dude! Could we even? It'd be like golf commentators. Okay, here I am. I'm hitting the ball with my car. is this supposed to be fun? Like, I don't get it. You know, I tried to watch it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it really has. Like, I will say this much though. I will say this much. Tell me if you guys agree. I am shocked at the amount of press it's getting that it's coming to Xbox One. It's
it is.
It
is. Yeah. Hey, look, we were wrong on that.
But you know why it's getting a lot of press? Because it's not a very impressive game that people really want to play. But when there is a good game, they don't give it any press. So think of it that way too.
Hey, you know, I'm proud of some Xbox fans to admit that they're interested in this game, and I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. Mooch, we were kind of wrong because we were like, hey, it'll probably die out. It'll just be no fanfare. But I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it, and then equally, I've been seeing a lot of excited Xbox One fans. Hey, look, if they're excited for it, that's cool. Right. You know, what I eat doesn't make them shit, as Next Gen would say. You know what I mean? Exactly. Just for me.
Yo, I've done one of those Twitter surveys, just asking, you know, are you gonna buy rocket cars if it comes to Xbox One, and it ended up being, you know, 50% each. 50%.
Oh, did it?
That was out of 250 votes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what?
Yes, 50% said no, so it's kind of like divided the audience.
Let me ask you guys this, because I did a Twitter poll yesterday, and I was like, you know, Xbox One exclusives going to PC, does that, A, affect the brand, piss you off, or do you not care? And you know, I was kind of surprised at the results. And I'll start off by saying this, right? Like, for me, for the most part, I don't really care when that happens. And I understand it for sometimes, like Killer Instinct, small community, you can expand it. I get that. Halo Wars 2, certainly, right? I mean, that makes absolute sense. Fable Legends, yes, makes sense again. Sea of Thieves, MMO, yes, makes sense, right? But there's, like I said, a good 3 to 5 franchises that should stay on Xbox, because you can't punish console people for buying your console by giving all the perks and games and free online to the PC. You know what I'm saying? To me,
I got to agree with you on that one, and I don't like to agree with you.
I know you guys.
I got to agree with you.
I know you guys say this a lot, but you got to understand something. This whole PC, like, part of the puzzle or part of the pie that we all talk about, it doesn't really exist. It really doesn't exist. You're talking about last generation. Let's just talk numbers we know. You're talking about 90 million, 180 million people with consoles buying games at $60 a clip, people, okay? Multi-plats, exclusives, etc. I understand everybody has a PC in their house. The study was done by Steam that over 67% have a PC in their home that are playing on Steam with the processing power of a Wii. So what I'm trying to say here is that this vocal minority we hear on YouTube and these asshats that are like, look, I just bought a 980 XT 7000. And then 2 weeks later, they love saying a 980 XT 4750/2X with a Bumblebee sticker. They love this bullshit, bullshit parts. They don't even know what literally before they hit record, they got the instruction booklet in their left hand and they're reading it. You can see their eyes moving. They don't even know what they're talking about. It's such a vocal minority. Nobody is. Who the hell? Okay, we all interact with hundreds of people. Okay, who says I can't wait to go home tonight and computer a game? I mean, nobody. Man,
I can't wait to get home and sit 2 inches away from my screen and fucking use my keyboard and mouse, man. Sweet.
My point being here is, I'm not saying, hey, Microsoft, open up the gates. I'm not saying that. But let's leave. If we leave the YouTube reality and we go into actual reality, if Microsoft released everything on the Windows, every single thing they do, it still does not impact the sales or the experience of the console. There's nobody buying it on PC. Nobody. They pirate. The developers don't like making fun. Bungie has a $500 million budget, and they flip the bird to the PC audience.
Yeah. EA does it too with like Madden and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm saying to you is, if this market is just that massive, and the 980 XT with a motherboard circuit chip with the fucking fan blowing out the back end of their ass. Listen, nobody's doing that. Nobody is doing that, man. It's the people on YouTube that.
And that's one of the reasons, you know, they don't buy games, and this is one of the reasons why. One of the reasons.
Most of those PCs come with like Edelbrock intakes and shit, right?
Yeah. Fucking cooking their hot dogs on the top. Get out of here.
But look, the other thing is like just the accessibility of it. Like, think about it. Like, you cannot go and buy a PC for $400, $300 that'll play Titanfall 2.
Absolutely. That's a good point. Good point.
There's certain great games that will never be on PC, like Red Dead Redemption. They're still begging for that till this day.
Yeah. Hey, well, we saw how big that when that happened, right? Red Dead Redemption leaks. It's backwards compatible. People are downloading it. IGN's like, hey, don't do that because they'll ban you. Nobody gets banned.
They're such bitches, dude. Like, why the fuck do you say that? They have no proof. They have no source. They just don't want you to have fun.
Yeah, it was, XboxMad.net. If you guys don't know, they're the leading source for, like, they actually do journalism, and I don't even think they get paid. I think that they just do it for the love of gaming and things like that. They actually are the ones that research and reach out to Microsoft, and Microsoft was like, "Our bad. You're not going to get in trouble if you downloaded a game you already own. How could you get in trouble for that, right?" And not only that, it shows the power of backwards compatibility because it was number one. Red Dead Redemption, number one on Amazon for 360, right? Why? Right. Because people wanted to play games. This was the kind of stuff. People want these games. They want Red Dead Redemption backwards compatible. They want the better Call of Duties backwards compatible. They want the heavy hitters backwards compatible, right? I mean, yeah, they're building up to that, obviously, and we're going to get more backwards compatible games. But I just think it just goes to show all those people damage controlling that it's not a big deal or that nobody wants backwards compatibility is bullshit. Because isn't one of the things that PC elitist idiots always talk about and brag is we get backwards compatibility. I mean, we all want that. We all want to be able to go back if we choose and go back and play it. Like, just say you have a little bit of downtime or whatever. Like, look, I was playing Dirt Rally or whatever it was which is backwards compatible, and it looks good. I have never played it before, and I was playing it on my Xbox One yesterday, and you can take screenshots and video, and I think it's awesome. I think it's a great feature. Since when is added features for games you already own or being able to play games you already own a bad thing? And you see, it's not.
It's never a bad thing. And I just want to add to what you were saying. Just seeing Red Dead Redemption #1 on the Amazon charts, that will motivate all the big publishers like Activision, EA to put all their heavy hitters on the Xbox One through backwards compatibility. It's gonna happen. Just seeing that #1 must have motivated them. And
look,
hopefully it did, Wolf. Hopefully it did.
Another game, though, South Park: Stick of Truth. This game released after the Xbox One had already released, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people skipped it. I didn't because I think that I was a big fan of South Park and I couldn't wait to play the game. Great game, by the way. When this game hit backwards compatibility, again, it hit top 3 on Amazon on 360 because people want to play it. This helps publishers. It helps give second life to these games. I think it's a good thing. Everybody should be doing it. If you're a Sony fan or a PS4 owner, you should be asking for backwards compatibility because obviously Sony could do it some way, or they could.
Who are they going to ask?
I can tell you right now.
No one's going to say anything.
I can tell you right now what PS4 could do, right? Even if it's not true backwards compatibility. They have a way to read the disc. So I have a PS3 disc, right? I pop it in my PS4. It can tell what that is. Then it should allow me to stream a game I already own via their PS Now. That's what they could do. They choose not to do it because they don't give a shit about their fans or the gamers. You know what I mean? They know that they've got that battered wife syndrome going on with their fans. They smack them around like bitches, and then they just keep going back for more because they're just like, oh my God, Sony. And Sony's like, I'm sorry, baby, I won't do it again. And they're like, okay. And then they go back and get smacked again.
Again, yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's just repeats over and over again, and it's really just it's unfortunate because
the one thing Microsoft have to do, and I really hope it comes in the March update, because I know they have a big update with Cortana and a few other things. They need a 360 digital store on the Xbox One.
Let me tell you something.
Will really motivate these publishers to put out their game.
On that note, there's this quote unquote insider, and I'm just going to say this. Use this as with a grain of salt, but we do know that a Windows 10 store is coming, and we do know that they're redesigning the store and everything for that. And we do know that you can find some of the backwards compatible titles in the store now, but you can't exactly buy them yet. According to this insider who helped, quote, work on the Xbox One Slim that's going to come, he said that they're redesigning the store. It's almost done. It's going to be Windows 10, all the apps and stuff like that. It's going to be like a unified store, which will actually be cool. But it says it's going to have the backwards compatible 360 games for purchase right there. So I think that's what you're looking for, Wolf. I think a lot of people are looking for that. I think maybe publishers are holding off for that. You know what I mean? If you're a publisher, maybe you would want that instant gratification of having people buy your game. But then again, if you already own it, then you'll get to play it either way. But I think that's cool because I think that these huge games like Red Dead are definitely going to be.
Well, Crap, you make a great point. You make a really good point because as you say this, I'm getting the Jerry Maguire flashback. That's the developers and the publishers saying, "Show me the money."
Exactly.
To be honest with you, until that store is built, it could just be an empty or prolonged promise. You know what I mean? So once Microsoft has it in place, they already know that the customer is going to buy it. That Red Dead jumping to first on Amazon, that's ridiculous. That was actually frightening to see. That scared me. That was like, wait a minute. I know it's cool. But
and people were streaming it too on Twitch. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I think it was it 2 or 3 days, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's about 5 games that I think have that kind of power, you know, and I mean that's really amazing. And you know, kudos. I mean, if Microsoft pulls that off, it's a win-win-win for everybody. If you don't own the game, you can get it cheap because it's older. If you own the game, you get to play it again for free using a better controller and on your your preferred system of choice right now. And Microsoft, you get more people buying the console. Everybody wins. Why aren't we, you know, I mean, I'm going to sound like Wolf here for a minute, but I agree with Wolf. Like, where is this shit? Like, let's go. Like, you announced
kick it in high gear. Yeah, exactly.
Step on the gas. Now everybody knows it's a moneymaker. Usually when people see money comes in, shit, fucking people Fred Flintstone their feet in their car. You know what I mean? Like, people get moving. You know what I mean? Let's go.
And I know Red Dead. I know Red Dead's in. You know, people are beta testing it and that. But you know, like I don't know. Maybe Microsoft shouldn't have blocked it. Give people, you know, blocking the ability to download this game because people were going on their 360s and buying this game digitally.
Well, you know what, Wolf, I listened to DirectX.
Why would you say no? Why would you say no to money? I don't get it.
I think you got. You know, the thing is, I heard your point on the show, and I think it was Kaleidoscope. You know, shout out to Kaleidoscope. You know, the thing is, he said that was true. Is if there was something. Listen, Wolf, you know the media hates Microsoft. We already know that, right? If one thing was not prepared in that game, if one part of the game, you know, the game is a long game. You get 15 hours in, and it locks and freezes. Oh, backwards compatibility's broken. They don't know what they're doing. This is shit. I paid for this. Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, they got to make sure it's 100%, you know? And I kind of, believe me, my anticipation and my excitement is with you. It was kind of like what Ghost Rider was saying. You know, he said, I agree with both of you guys. You know, my excitement is with you. Like I told you, when I saw Left 4 Dead, I think, Wolf, you even took a screenshot or something. Like Left 4 Dead 2, I saw when that was actually going to be able to be played, I freaked the fuck out. I thought we were going to be able to jam out on that on Xbox One. I thought that was great. I was so psyched, and then it got pulled. But if it's not ready, I guess, listen, I'm not willing to wait till September. I think that's bullshit. But if it's just March or April, you know.
No, I know, Mooch, but what I'm trying to say is that they had all this publicity, positive publicity, and there was a media buzz over this thing.
True. No, your point's right.
They should have, like, you know, float with the waves.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You should. You know, what Wolf's point is tonight, and he said it on his show, you know, last night, was just that literally, when you get that kind of buzz, you really got it. It's like lightning in a bottle. No better example than soccer cars, right? Came out right when there was nothing else. The media rode with it, and they just boom, they blew up. When Microsoft had this great press and Red Dead Redemption hit #1. They really should have done everything they could have to, even if they had some shit to work on, said Red Dead will be out in 48 hours. You know, and bust your ass.
Right. You got to jump on that shit. Once it's out there and it's getting a lot of press and people are, I mean, like, tweeting for 2 days about it, 3 days.
It was trending.
It was trending for 2 and 3 days straight, you know, 24/7. I mean, you got to jump on that. You have to. I agree with that. You have to jump on that. You have to.
Yeah, and guess what? I think they're going to jump on that in a big way this year because you're going to see EA bring all the 360 games to EA Access. You're going to see Dragon Age 1 and 2, the Burnouts. You're going to see all that stuff. Anything that EA published on 360, you're going to see that put on in the EA. Wouldn't that be great for them to put that in the in the vault? You know, just more options.
They got majority of the Sega games already about this compatible. Now they need some more Capcom games, maybe even Street Fighter 4 and all the other games.
What game did you just say, Crap, to put in the vault?
I said that EA is going to obviously put all the 360 games that they published in the vault. We know that's going to happen, like the Burnout games, the Dragon Age games, Mass Effect trilogy, obviously, that would be key. Why not? I got a feeling that this stuff is coming before E3 or maybe right after E3, because guess what? Mass Effect 4 either going to come out late this year or early next year, and they maybe want people to build up the hype, have those games released on backwards compatibility and things like that. I can see that happening, and I think that a lot of good things are going to be happening with the Xbox One as far as the backwards compatibility front, because I even think you're going to see some of the original Xbox added into backwards compatibility. Whether this will be a big thing, I think it'll be a big thing for the hardcore Xbox fans. But I think that it'll be interesting to have one box that can play all 3 generations of Xbox, and I think that would be great, because Sony can't do that. You know what I mean? They just can't. The PS4 plays PS4 games, and that's it. You know, you can't play. You know, they can resell you shit like PS1 game or whatever, or let you stream games that you already own and pay for it again, but you can't play like all 4 generations of PlayStation on that, and I think that that's definitely saying a lot as far as Xbox. I think Xbox is doing a lot of the right things right now. I just hope that you know, this kind of PC march isn't something
I think Sony could do it if they really, really wanted to, but they made a $400 million investment on Gaikai, and they're not going to do it.
Yeah, well, they got made
all that money they're going to lose.
They're forced to make that into a success. I feel like if they write that off, Kazurai is getting fired.
Well, look, they were made to look foolish last E3 with the announcement of backwards compatibility. Let's just be honest. Even though Microsoft doesn't really take shots, Mike Ibarra took shots. You know what I mean? Like he was like, hey, you can play your games that you already own, and then you notice like Sony hasn't really talked about PlayStation Now since then at all. Right. You know what I mean? Because that is the most irrelevant thing from Sony since the Vita. You know what I mean? And that was the most irrelevant thing from Sony since, you know, mini disc or the Walkman or the PS2 hard drive. You know, that's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's not very relevant at this point in time. So, I think that that's interesting. But anyway, just changing the subject a little bit slightly. What do you guys think about game trailers closing? I want to say this: that place used to be good. I used to like. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, crap my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad they're closing with the bullshit.
I used to like them, right? They had a lot of cool stuff on there, right? But now they were ignoring anybody that wasn't PS4, right? Yeah. They ignored Nintendo fans, Xbox fans, even PC fans. The only thing they cared about was PS4, right? They were apparently blackballed a little bit by Microsoft. They were the ones started doing, you know, all this, you know, all the Matrix memes and stuff like that, right? So they would sit there and just talk up Sony, hate on Xbox, you know, typical thing that they would do.
I was just going to ask a quick question. Was Jeff Keighley running that outlet? He was,
Jeff Keighley was part of that outlet, yeah. And same thing with Michael Pachter and them. They would do like E3 coverage for that and your girl iJustine.
Yeah, well, but all 3 of those people you just mentioned, though, crap. They're all pretty much they went independent a couple of years ago. They went back and they went back and did shows to, you know, help their old brand. But the 3 of them basically set off on their own. Like Jeff Keighley's been on his own thing for quite some time, especially taking over the Game Awards, etc. So those 3 really get affected. But you're right, you're dead spot accurate. The whole thing was just a Sony channel. That Kyle Bossman, wherever they got him from, he looked like a lethargic Tom Green. You know, I mean, I've never seen such a no talent ass clown have such, you know, it's unbelievable. Like, so when they closed, I said, you know, good riddance to you guys, man. All you did was bullshit. And it's funny, whenever you wrote any of those assholes on Twitter, they treated us like we were the jerk offs. You know, they're like, oh no, you know, you guys don't know, you're just a fanboy, you're just an Xbot, whatever. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand. When you call somebody else a fanboy because of a comment like that, and then you start arguing with the person, don't you realize that you're a fanboy on the other side of the line? Like, I mean, are you that deaf and dumb? I don't understand these people. So with them,
evidently they are.
It's irrelevant,
and they're unemployed. So
I think them disappearing from the gaming spectrum is irrelevant. Like to me, that's not real news. They're ancient. they're ancient. There are people who needed to die off. It was being run by people who don't understand gaming. It's kind of like, fashion. It's kind of like fashion. You got to move on from wearing your what you call it, your cargo pants with 80,000 pockets from 2001. You got to move forward from that. So we're getting rid of the excess fat, and game trailers happens to be part of it.
I don't wish anybody to lose their jobs or anyone going belly up. I don't wish anyone to go belly up. But these motherfuckers, man, I don't really care. Fuck them. They had what was coming to them anyway.
It's like applying and getting a job at some place that offers you what you call it, a flip phone. Like, you wouldn't work for that company. It's over. You don't.
Man, a flip phone, that sounds pretty sweet, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
So you don't go to game trailers and you're like,
I'm all about the free stuff, man.
He wants that jitterbug.
Yo, that's one outlet done, another 4 to go. That's the way.
Yeah, here's what I'll say, right? Like, if you're an Xbox fan, I don't know any Xbox fans that went to this site anymore, and that probably contributed to them closing down. I know I didn't go there anymore, and one of the reasons was because they just pandered and pandered and pandered. And I think big sites like IGN and GameSpot should wake up and say, hey, we need to get back into game journalism, not this TMZ style shit. You know what I mean? Because that stuff doesn't work. You're going to get clicks, but you're going to get clicks from the wrong people. You know what I mean? Those cheap ass Sony fans that use ad block. So if you want my clickbait's not going to work. Right. So you got to kind of just like be fair. Not sure, or at least cover things evenly. You know what I mean? I don't think that you gotta, just cover. You don't have
bias. Just do it. Just do it. All right. This is the facts about this. This is the facts about that, and leave it at that. Let the fans decide on what's what.
Yeah, when you tune into the nightly news, nightly news every night at 6:30. Don't get me wrong. There's a smidgen of bias everywhere. You know what I mean? That's just people. That's human nature. But when you tune in, it's not like you tune in and you just get Republican or just Democratic news. The general world news covers a plethora of information. And even when you used to, you go back 5-6 years ago, again, like I said on IGN, even when Greg Miller would give a review, he wasn't like just boasting the PlayStation back then. You knew he was a PlayStation guy, fan, but he was pretty fair and across the board. And then this revolt, this coup took over, whatever happened. And then you saw this translation of just all the media going right to Sony. And there's no reason for the allegiance. First of all, let's not forget, with Sony and the PS3, they left everybody high and dry for 7 years. Where this resurgence came from out of nowhere, it baffles me. And when people say the DRM thing, they never instituted it. They never said it was going to be policy. So that's bullshit. Yeah. And in late-breaking news here, I want to give credit where credit's due. Jamie Moran, the leading PlayStation VR developer, Dave Renard, has left Sony.
Wow.
And it hasn't released yet. Let me tell you something. You don't, okay? Look, when you own your own business or you own your own concept on a design, it's your baby. Okay.
Hey, that'd be like me starting. I got a good thing here, Moosh. Maybe it's not on your level, but that's like me building up CrapgamerReviews and then leaving before it launches. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm out. You guys handle that shit.
That's my point. This is dead. This is dead on arrival, people. Yeah. This is over with. This game is over with. PlayStation VR developer, and not just that. He wasn't just a developer. He was the lead. He is responsible for The Deep and The London Heist, which are two of the premier PlayStation VR games. He left. He goes, it was a tough decision. Tough my ass. He was on,
get the hell out of there.
He was on the upside of the Titanic and watched the fucking thing going down slow.
I mean, look at those tech demos, man. So he doesn't want to get caught playing those again.
Right.
I was going to say the facts are that he didn't have faith in his own product. And he just wanted to jump out of a sinking boat. That's all it was, man. And I don't
look at those tech issues.
Good on him, man.
PlayStation experience. You can't even fucking play Frisbee. I could go to the Dollar Tree right now and buy a 97-cent fucking Frisbee, and I could throw it to somebody.
Yo, seeing that demonstration at PS6, it was just so awkward, man.
And you couldn't even fucking play Frisbee. He has his arm twitching behind his back, and they're like, we're having some problems here.
Yeah. Hey, guys. Just real quick, going back to this game trailers thing, right? They closed, good riddance. The final thing they did was go back and re-review Bloodborne to give it a 10 out of 10 because they've never given it a 10 out of 10 before. So to me, I think that that's kind of a final screw you to Xbox fans, just going back and reviewing that crap. I mean, they could have reviewed anything and gave it a 10 out of 10, like Metal Gear, whatever. There was about Batman, Witcher 3, right? That would have made more sense in my opinion. And give a perfect score just for the sake. It's like, game trailers reports to Metacritic, right? So it's like they're just gonna, because they've never given one before, they're just gonna go ahead and give one. I mean, that doesn't seem like a legit reason to me. Just kind of shady.
Like a game that's nearly a year old, and they want to review it now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of bullshit. And so yeah, good riddance to you, game trailers. And I look forward to not hearing from you guys in the future because your guys' show sucked anyway. I hated seeing those freaking. You know what, Mooch? All those guys over there that would do that, like the people on their panel for their E3 show and stuff. Jeff Keighley would host that or whatever, and they'd have all those douchebags from California out there, and they look all like, I don't know what the hell is that look that they got going on over there. You know it better than me, but.
What, the look on their faces?
No, like the stuff they wear. What are they, like hipsters or something, man?
They're like hipster doofuses. I've never seen them in my life, man. They literally wear these. They wear clothes. Look, I got news for you. And Southbound's listening, so shout out to Southbound. But in all honesty, like the clothes that some of the people in like the San Francisco area wear, like you could never wear that shit in New York. Or maybe you can wear it in New York City. But like in New York City, you just blend in as like background. This is like people in premier positions or on television, dressed like a bunch of assholes.
If they were dressed up like that in London, we'll just look at them as trailer park trash. They look like trailer park trash, man.
Hey, do people in London wear those hats like in Assassin's Creed Syndicate?
Nah, they don't, man.
Damn, man. Damn, I was hoping they would.
Back in the 19th century, man. We're in the 21st, man.
Hey, Jamie Moran was gonna buy one though, because he tweeted that out. He's like, man, I wanted to buy one, but they sold out. I don't know. I think those things look pretty sweet.
Unless it's a fancy dress party, then yeah, people will wear that shit. But like
that's
on a regular day,
about,
hell no.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, good riddance. Game trailers. We're gonna see more of this happening, and I'll tell you exactly why. Is because just like news, like local news or what have you, there's better places to get your news, right? There's better places to get your gaming news. Thanks to YouTube and places like this, you don't have to sit there and listen to a paid site of journalists talk shit on your console of choice. You know what I mean? You don't have to sit through a bunch of shit talk to get to the good stuff. You can find somebody that caters to what you want. There's other sites out there that cater to what you want, and they're a little bit more journalistic anyway, because these guys that are getting paid to be unbiased are supposed to have a code of journalism, a code of ethics, and they don't abide by that. So good riddance, and I can't wait to see the rest of you guys fail. I've already unfollowed like places like GameSpot. I never use any of these places anymore. You know what I mean?
My favorite sites. I'm just gonna name a few of my favorite sites. I do like Xbox Mad. They provide the correct information, and Rectify Gaming, great site.
Yes, they do good. I hear there's a new one coming too that's supposed to be unbiased. I forget what it's called, but hopefully they live by that and actually stick by being unbiased. And I hope that actually happens.
I kind of feel like I like to relate a lot of these gaming media sites to like people who open up new bars in your local area. When a new bar opens up and it's not doing very well, and all of a sudden like someone's like, hey, I heard they're letting underage people drink in there. Hey, I heard they're letting underage people drink in there. And then you see the place is packed, but it's packed with like college kids and shit like that. Because listen, after a while, even if you have good intentions, when you don't make any money, desperate times call for desperate measures. And a lot of these gaming sites weren't getting clicks. So what do? Anything to get clicks, and everybody knows to get clicks right now. All you have to do is put anything at all bashing Microsoft in the title, and people will click it. You get the Sony fans. The Sony fans read it and drool. The Xbox fans read it and get angry. Yep. So it's a win-win. So a lot of these gaming sites that are just hating on Microsoft over and over and over again is a lot like that dive bar in the local area we all live. Anywhere you live, everyone's got one dive bar, and they're letting the underage kids drink because they need the money. And that's what's happening. Eventually, though, what happens is the SLA or the cops bust you and you close. Game trailers. So, that's what happens. It is what it is. So
I'm happy. I know you shouldn't really be happy, but for me, I'm cool with it. I'm down. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy.
I don't want to see anybody lose their job, but the fact that
they should have done their job.
But I was just. Could I finish talking before you keep interrupting?
Can I talk? Are you turning into John Doe on me? Come on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. You'll get John Doe really quick around these parts. Let me tell you.
You hear me?
Can I talk? Let me finish.
Excuse me? Boy, you better go make me a sandwich already. I'm hungry. Go make me a sandwich.
Oh, you need what do you need? You need to get. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I need chocolate too.
Go ahead.
What's your point, I'm done now. I'm done now. I was just gonna.
Good point, Nancy.
Compelling as always, Nancy. All right, okay, according to this insider that I heard, I know we're all hungry for ReCore information. According to this guy, again, take it with a grain of salt, rumor, this guy supposedly works at Microsoft, says that ReCore is an RPG light with a loot system, and the dog is your companion throughout the game. What is your guys' thoughts on this? Is if true? I think if it's an RPG, great. Microsoft needs a fucking first-party RPG. Loot system, I don't care. The companion dog, that would be fantastic. This is really shaping up to be an interesting game. What is your guys' thoughts on this? If this is accurate, RPG with the loot system and companion dog.
I think it's needed because it's one of the most heavily supported types of genres over in Japan, and it's a genre that's well known here now in the States and also over there in European territories. It'll sell very well because it's done by a beloved game developer with a track record that everybody approves of. It's done by published by a publisher everybody enjoys, and it's going to be a well put together story.
Well, published by Microsoft.
Yeah. And so I think it's definitely going to go over well. It's going to sell well globally. We might hear the Kotakus say it's all right, but it's going to be like, they're going to enjoy it. I honestly think everybody will like it. There's not going to be much to hate here, especially with the legendary credentials that this game has backing it.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. From this insider, he also says we're going to see gameplay February 25th.
Woo! Where and when?
At the Xbox event.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah, he says they're going to be showing off some of that. I mean, what is your guys' thoughts on that as far as Mooch? I mean, are you hyped for this game? Are you interested? Want to see more about it? What?
Well, I mean,
Mooch loves Japanese games.
I'm actually so into between the chat and Jamie Moran is losing his mind over the Quantum Break. Did you guys see the Quantum? I don't mean to change crap.
Yeah, I saw the. I know you guys are the king of getting me off topic, but I saw the Quantum Break screenshot. Right?
That's insane.
Yeah, that is. It looks.
And that's
that
totally game.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Quantum Break, and we'll get back to ReCore here in a second. Quantum Break, Remedy is announcing Quantum Break stuff tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
The 11th. So we're going to get a big blowout with Quantum Break tomorrow. From what I understand, I'm not sure if that's what we'll hear tomorrow, but from my quote insider, and again, grain of salt, there's going to be 2 console bundles with this game. One is going to be just the black console in the game, that and the 500 gig hard drive, and the other is going to be completely painted up, 1 terabyte with the game and everything.
Custom console, you're saying?
Custom console, yes.
Did somebody just say custom consoles?
Yes, custom consoles.
Oh my
God. There's going to be 2. Then according to him also, which is interesting, is there's going to be a $50 price drop on all bundles by the time April comes around. So he's saying $299 for the Quantum Break with the black, $399 for the Quantum Break custom with the game. 1 terabyte.
If there's not a Quantum Break custom console, you're going to hear me yell.
Oh, I'd be pissed too. Yeah, I'd be
and Tim Dog, he's with me on this one. He said he's gonna yell too.
Tim Dog will be like, "Why can't you guys get a fucking custom console?" Like, if you guys missed that, man, like check out BGST where Tim Dog totally went in on those asshats Boogie and Angry Joe. Oh man, that was so funny, man. You guys got
classic.
Yeah, it was. Like when he gets going, man, you just become a fan and you just start listening to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, he just went in and he hit the nail on the head, and that's the important part. But yeah, so again, just to reiterate, tomorrow, Quantum Break news. Obviously, we probably might hear something about these custom consoles if that's legit. Maybe see something from it. Maybe I asked about the Alan Wake remaster. He said that's not happening. That it's going to be a backwards compatible game. They're going to allow backwards compatibility with that.
I'm totally okay with that, by the way.
I'm okay with it. I just had already got all the achievements I can on that game, so I was hoping for new achievements with the backwards compatible version. So meh. But it's cool for people that didn't get the chance to play it. Like American Nightmare was really good too. I have that as well. And I heard that was backwards compatible for a while for people. So I mean, hopefully everything works out good with that. But just going back to the Recore thing, Mooch, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Recore, the thing is, everyone says this, but everyone's right. We do need to see more on it before we can get into any kind of depth. But I mean, to be honest with you, the concept behind it is amazing. The idea that these whatever those core energy, whatever they're going to be called, are something you can pick up, put into another machine or item or maybe gun or whatever, and then you can actually take that and go forward with that. And that's ever changing. That's really, really a great concept. And then if they make it open, I don't even know if it's going to be open world. I don't think it will be, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be
probably not fully open, sort of like maybe like Dragon Age or something. But you are supposedly going around this world exploring and stuff. So. Right,
and I mean that's plenty big. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I'm double dipping between Recore and Quantum Break, but when we did our show on BGST crap of most anticipated 2016, I said my most anticipated game was Quantum Break, and then I went one step further, which people like to giggle and laugh at when it's way ahead of time. I actually said, without even playing it, that Quantum Break is my game of the year 2016. That's how far I'm going with it.
I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really good, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I mean, I can't. This to me could be one of the first really complete game experiences. I guess that's what
this is the Gears of War of this generation.
Yeah,
when you look at it, you're like, oh fuck.
We all know the credentials are there. Remedy, they're no strangers when it comes down to great third-person shooters. These motherfuckers made bullet time so big in video games. Now they're fucking freezing time, and they're taking it to the next fucking level. You see the particle effects and just the graphics alone, and you see the vistas popping in this game. The attention to detail is on a whole different level, and I'm with you, Mooch, when you're saying that could possibly be Game of the Year for 2016.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the story is already going to be amazing. Now we're going to get, like you said, they invented the slow time space, if you will, just the entire space that exists around that in the gaming world. I think they're going to take that with Quantum Break and magnify it, and we saw that in some of the glimpses of gameplay that Sam Lake showed us. You're going to see all of that come to fruition. So you've got the story, the amazing gameplay, and then I think you're going to see the actual strength. This is the first time the Xbox One is going to flex its muscles. People who are in the know are saying, and this is coming from Xbox Mad, that Microsoft is very much involved with Remedy on this project. They own the IP. It's a big deal. And I think that they said not only will the game be the most fun you've played in a long, long time, but it'll also be one of the most graphically God, how do I put it? Not challenging, but challenged game, where it's just got so much going on that it's the first time you'll sit back, like you did with Gears of War in 2007, and your eyes will say, "Wow, this is what I've been waiting for."
And this will utilize all the chips in the box. That's the most important thing.
Microsoft worked really, really closely with Remedy on this one. I guess Phil and company have been playing it pretty much throughout the development process, which is really important.
And it will showcase, the power of the Xbox One in terms of graphics. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Listen, I said this back in BGST back in December. Jamie Moran wrote when we were giving our predictions for Game of the Year in 2016 and stuff, and I said, he goes, "Come on, Mooch, Mass Effect." Jamie, well done, buddy. He goes, "Quantum Break is now my #1 anticipated game. Mass Effect second." I said it, and he's a huge Mass Effect guy.
He is. I know.
That took a lot. That took a lot for you to say it, James. But welcome to the band, buddy.
Oh, right. Mass Effect. And I mean, anybody that isn't really excited for Quantum Break, man, you got to check your pulse as a gamer, because this game is what next generation is all about. Like the physics, the things going on, the story, how they're approaching it with the live action stuff, and how it changes that. I think that it's completely something that we haven't seen before. It's breaking ground. That's what we wanted as gamers, right? New IP that break ground and that are compelling. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want. That's what we've been saying we've wanted, and here we go. We've got a brand new.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
No, I got booted out somehow. Something got unplugged, and I don't know what happened, so I decided back in.
We were gonna John Doe you. That's what happened.
Oh shit! All right, crap.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So anyway, it's like people go, oh well, they aren't taking You know, they aren't taking chances. You know what I mean? Here we go. This is a big chance, new IP, huge AAA game. You know, and I think
let's refresh people's minds here too about the beginning of the show and where we've taken the show right now. Okay, and I was one of them. You know, the reason that Phil's not opening up the checkbook and we're not getting games like Titanfall 2 are because they're putting their money into these new IPs. Now, the thing is you hate to start this whole bandwagon again, but if you're an Xbox fan, if you own an Xbox and you don't go buy games like Quantum Break, well, you're also sending a signal back to Xbox saying we don't want that. You know, so you do got to support the brand. Does that mean you should go buy anything and everything? No, you should not. That's not what we preach here. We always preach to be consumer first. But when you got a game like this is equivalent to when somebody says, "Hey, did you see that new movie?" And you're like, "No." What's it about? And the person goes, "I don't know what it's really about, but the graphical effects in that movie were insane. You got to see it in IMAX 3D." And you're like, "All right, I'll go." And then the guy next to you in line's like, "Hey, what's this about?" And you're like, "I don't know, but I heard it's going to look great." My point is that this is a game that just the beauty of it, just the mechanics of what we've seen, and the track record of Remedy is enough for you to it's enough to justify the purchase.
This game, Mooch, is going to put the whole power debate to rest completely. It'll be RIP power. No one will give a fuck about power no more, because this will be all about power, this game. Yeah. And if I don't see any Xbox guy on my friends list or girls not playing this game, I will lose all respect. I'm just telling you, man.
You can't. You know, you can't complain that we get the same old stuff and then not buy something new when it comes out that's different and a new IP and things like that. I think that's what we're that's what we're trying to say. At least that's what I'm saying. You know, like you can't be there and go, "Oh, all Microsoft does is release Halo, Gears, and Forza." Well, guess what? They've also released other things. You know what I mean? Like Rise, Titanfall, Quantum Break, and of course, like Record's going to be something. If you're not supporting these other games, then you have no right to complain.
I just personally think a game like Quantum Break couldn't technically run on a PS4. I'm just telling you, it's a fact. Number one, it's the way the physics are being used in this game, and this game
they're CPU based.
It's very CPU based, and we all know that the PlayStation, they have a dog shit CPU.
The CPU
That's a fact. This would destroy Uncharted in all categories and Horizon. I'm telling you this right now.
Well, I'm telling you what, you mentioned Uncharted, that's a good segue, because I was excited for this game, but the more this stuff keeps coming out, maybe you guys heard about this, they had to go back and motion cap again right now. They're motion capping again.
But I thought the game was ready.
Oh, they're motion capping again. This close to release.
I'm hearing other delays in the works, crap.
There could be. I mean, I'm hearing that rumor too.
If it gets delayed one more time, what's the sense? Why would you want to have your biggest franchise release in June? At this point, you push it to September, October, November, right?
I would, because they're not. Obviously, look, Horizon's not going to make it this year.
Horizon's not coming out. They had their PSX show. Didn't even have a fucking sticker up on stage.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. Well,
I said that last year, and they didn't need that to show hit after hit, dude. They could just show big fucking robots looking like PS1 games, and then have fucking guys with goofy glasses.
Hey, you guys, we don't need Quantum Break. I mean, Office Simulator's coming out in June.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
You know, or like the paint dry simulator and things like that. I think it's interesting.
Hey, you know what? I think Office Simulator would be a great game for all the game trailers, old employees, huh?
Oh,
something to do at home.
Oh, I agree. So. I think that you know, they ain't got nothing else to do. What else do they have to do, right?
I mean, listen, it kills me because all they did was show that Horizon Zero or whatever it's called, and they showed this girl running around the dinosaur, throwing an electric bow and arrow at a 75-story high dinosaur with fucking shielding, whatever that is. And then they said, listen, they did like a thing on YouTube where they're like, listen, we didn't show you enough at the E3 trailer. Here's more on Horizon. It was the same clip.
Yeah.
It's just, it was more of her getting to the dinosaur.
And besides, who wants to play as this woman who doesn't even look like she hadn't had a bath in 10 years? Come on, man.
Listen, they didn't show any story. It looked very, very lame. I didn't see anything that made me go enjoy. But it was funny, though, because it was most anticipated game of E3 for no reason other than Guerrilla Games, and they showed it running on a PC. And this is my point. You have a game like Quantum Break coming out, you've got all these games coming out this fall, they're going to have to push. Quantum Break is so good that it is going to bitch slap Uncharted 4. And when I said that last year, people were like, Mooch, you're out of your mind. Uncharted 4 comes with credentials. It used to come with credentials because Naughty Dog is not the Naughty Dog of old. They are a skeleton crew of what they used to be. So you're not getting the Uncharted of the past. You're getting Neil Druckmann. It should say that. A Neil Druckmann joint.
A Neil Druckmann production. That dude's so full of himself, dude. He's like, a Neil Druckmann production, written by Neil Druckmann,
acted by Neil Druckmann.
You know what I mean? Directed Neil Druckmann.
Nathan
Sony,
Drake will
presented by Sony. Neil Druckmann. Yeah, we kicked out Nolan North. He's not Drake anymore. Neil Druckmann is Drake.
I would actually applaud that.
I would too. That would be fucking hilarious. That would probably be the only way I'd get excited. But look,
I'm always going to be excited. With real actors. You know what I mean? Not Nolan North. Like, I'd rather play Sean Ashmore kicking ass.
Well, let me say this real quick. I am more excited, and as gamers, we should be more excited to play a brand new, groundbreaking IP than a fourth game in a franchise that's on a downswing. And let's be honest, that Uncharted is on a definite downswing. Yep. I like the games, but guess what? They've been getting worse since 2. The handheld one wasn't that great. 3 wasn't great, and 4 doesn't look like anything to slap your mama about.
And I just want to wrap.
Slap your mama.
I just want to wrap Horizon on a nutshell. It's Killzone in third person. That's all it is.
Yeah,
that's all it is, people.
That's all it is. It's true.
Oh, you got to take off too much food?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I try to hang out as much as possible.
No worries, man. We did go long, but I thought it was flowing well and stuff, man. You can go ahead and take off, man. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks,
man.
Later,
food. Catch up with you, man. Take it easy.
Yeah. Anyway, that game, Horizon Dawn, right? This is the thing. That game looks okay to me, right? But Guerrilla Games absolutely terrible at stories, right? Yeah, so that's not a game that I'm going to go, oh, that looks so good, I'm going to buy it day one. I'm going to see what some reviewers say about it. First of all, I don't think there's a multiplayer aspect, so maybe it's a rental. Go Redbox it, or, Redbox does free rentals on Wednesdays.
Well, most PS4 exclusives are rentals, man. They're Redbox, GameFly type games, man. That's where Sony fans usually rent their games all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And so maybe I'll rent it because
why I say they're not true gamers, because true gamers buy their games, whether it be on, hard copy or whether they buy it digitally. We got our games.
Yeah, exactly. So, that could be a way that I check it out. I don't really know. I just think that it's just one of those interesting situations that I'm looking excited for it. So, hold on, what's this? Crap logic. Uncharted is on a downfall because they released a weaker third version, but it's hyped for Gears 4. Gears Judgment was supposed to be a arcade, just like a spin-off thing. You can count that if you want, but yeah, that would be on a decline as well. I'm hoping that Gears 4 kind of reiterates that. Will it be? They're going back to the roots, so you can see that there's definite change. They're getting away for the more like bro kind of 4-player situation. They're going more for like the hardcore scare.
The whole element, they're bringing that back.
Yeah, it's just 2-player. It's darker. That's what they're doing. Whereas Uncharted 4, Uncharted 3 was just goofy. I mean, let's just face it, that game just got goofy. The handheld one was just goofy. This fourth one just looks really scripted to me. So yeah, I think that it's one of those situations where you can sit there and try to call me out for that, and I'll sit there and answer that shit all day. I think that Gears Judgment was a letdown.
Facts, though. Facts.
Gears Judgment was a letdown. I'm hoping that they rebound, since this is basically a grittier Gears, and I'm excited about that. What about Uncharted 4? Is groundbreaking.
See, this is the problem. Like Microsoft in the previous Gears games, they didn't have that much creative control because it was Epic's IP. Now they have all the creative control in the world, and I'm sure they're going to take this game to the next level, a place that you've never seen before.
Yeah,
I really say that. Like multiplayer and single player.
I hope you're right with that, because it is a good game. And if they take it to the next level, it could be something out of this world. It really can.
Yeah.
Well, graphically, it's going to blow everybody's mind.
Yo, dude, Giants, dude, you're like keep on saying crap logic, dude. Uncharted 4 looks scripted because you got cars chasing you again, and Gears of War 4, they've said that they've gone back. It's almost a gritty reboot with the two-player co-op, and so I'm interested in that. So quit putting words in my mouth, especially when you suck at it, and your trolling attempts are terrible.
Yeah, these guys
never did have co-op.
Yeah, well, if you look at what Microsoft is doing with Gears, you know, they're going back to the basics. Gears Judgment was made by People Can Fly. It was split with, you know, Cliffy B left, Rod Ferguson left. So you have Ferguson back, and actually people that worked on the original Gears games back working at the Coalition now, people that genuinely love the game franchise, and Cliffy B said it's great. You know, they asked him what they thought about it. Apparently he's read the script or some of the script, and he said it's great. So I'm looking forward to it. I think that it's going to sound sounds good.
Just in general, just bringing up Uncharted and Gears in the same sentence, it's an offense to Gears of War, man. Like
I'm glad they're going back for the more gritty like Gears 1 type feel, because you play you play Gears 1 and it's super gritty and it's super, I love it, you know what I mean? It's like, and I'm glad they're going back to that. I hope that you know, whoever the main characters are, whether they be new or old, I hope that they keep that kind of gritty like horror feel. I really like that. So yeah, just okay, I got like I think one more thing to cover. That is Mad Catz of all people. You know, they're accessory creator. You know, they do like accessories like the controllers and third-party accessories and stuff like that. They said that there's around 60 million in sales between Xbox One and PS4. Basically, this is more guessing from a company, but I just thought it was interesting because what this does is, and you won't see people run with this fucking story, right? Because EA was like guessed at 55 million. Here's Mad Catz guessing at 60 million. So go ahead, ponies. Let's see what you did when EA came out and guessed at at their 55 million, and you did. Well, Sony just come out and said 37 million. That must mean that there's only this many million Xbox Ones, right? So do the math now. You know what I mean? According to this, the Xbox One's well into the 20 millions because Sony's last numbers weren't that great. So there you go. I mean, I just think that it's interesting how you'll see the media. Remember how the media ran with Xbox One reportedly at only 19 million, right? Just because EA guessed at a number. But you will see no sites running with potential Xbox One sales leaked at over 20 million. You're not going to see those stories. It was a big story when people thought it was 19, but now that it's well over that, nobody's going to say shit.
Yeah, no one's reporting anything either.
Exactly. Nobody's running with this story, right?
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Why would they?
Yeah. Why would they? You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. You know, and hey, guess what?
I've said it before. I think me and Mooch, we kind of like guessed and speculated, and I think we're pretty much on point with what we guessed. We were saying maybe 22. I think right now they're probably at 25.
Probably 25 shipped, probably 22, 23 actively. You know what I mean? Just like I think Sony's at probably 35 shipped and probably maybe 29, 30 actively. You know, I don't think it's as big of a difference active. If it was, then why does Sony only have like 11, 12 million PSN Plus subscribers?
Listen, everything all equals out at the end, and not just that, you've got to look at what's going on. At the end of 2016, not to mention 2017, let's just look at each year by year. At the end of this year, Microsoft has so many more games coming out. And when I say so many more games, I mean games that people give a shit about. You know, I don't care about like Wonton Sui and all this other shit that they got coming out on PS4. Nobody cares. Like nobody cares. Like people call it whatever they want. Oh, we don't like it or this and that. You know, look, we have Wolf here. Wolf's from England. You know, it's not just an American thing. I'm just saying, like people who have realistic jobs and go to work and happen to be over the age of 25, we don't want to come home and play chopstick, catch a fly.
Yeah.
You're on a rampage tonight.
I mean, we don't have time for that shit. When you tell me that I'm going to go plunk down $60 and I'm actually going to get a game like Quantum Break, you've got my attention. I am not going to watch television. We're going to actually, family, people are going to actually want to watch this game develop and how it proceeds. Like, nobody gives a shit. So, like, when people are like, oh, Mooch, you don't know what you're talking about. Look at all these games we got on PlayStation. And it's literally just, like, old school versions and knockoffs of Street Fighter type of games and knockoff versions of, like,
oh, I hate that shit when you get something and it's always, like, it's almost exactly the same, just...
Yeah, it's like, a knockoff.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stand that. I can't... Stand that.
All the anime JRPGs that they have knockoffs of things that were big back in the day, but now it's a different story somebody wrote. It's all bullshit, you know. And
it's not a different story. It's the same story. They just made the characters look a little different.
No, they actually look exactly the same. But like,
I'm trying to give them a little credit there. Come on now.
No, they really don't. Well, they don't. What do you want me to do? Like, I'm not a graphic artist, but I can tell when. Like, I mean, you know, you look at the games on Microsoft. Like, Marcus Phoenix doesn't look like Master Chief. Master Chief doesn't look like Sean Astin. You know what I mean? Exactly. I don't know how to explain it to anybody. Like, it's just black and white. It's easy.
Yeah, but one thing, Mooch. Kratos looks like Quan Chi. I don't know why. Like, they just love copying from other developers.
They do. They really do like to copy. They copy and paste, copy and paste. They call it an exclusive, fine, whatever. Call it whatever you want. But Microsoft actually has the IPs and the games that people see. I would think people give a shit about. And as these media outlets either slowly start to drop off or change their tune a little, I think you're going to see a lot more Xbox sales in 2016 because, again, what I'm saying is the typical American consumer, when they walk in and they look to the right and look at all the blue boxes and they're like, oh, it's all those Japanese games and then the games they know about, the multiplats, then they look over and they see Quantum Break, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, blah, blah, blah. You know, you go on and on, Scalebound, and it goes on, and you're like, wow, plus all the multiplats, those are games that resonate with the American consumer. It may take time. It may take time, but the Sony console has only got, what, 5, in my personal opinion, like we just said, but probably like, let's say 35 to 25, that's shipped. You know, realistically, we just said like 23 to 29 active. You know, 6 million units or even 10 million units in the course of this lifespan, when things can fluctuate and change in one holiday season, it's not a big deal. You know, the 360, right, Crap? You were throwing numbers out a couple of BGSCs ago, and you said that when Gears launched, and the 360, that was when the shit hit the fan. Everyone was like, I gotta have it, I gotta have it, I gotta have it. If Quantum Break is that game, we may see a spike in sales coming in the very near future, even maybe before E3. So, I mean, I don't know. You can't just sit here and tell me that 6 to 10 million. They sold 90 million last generation, people, and they both did. So you can't tell me that your 6 million to 10 million lead is a big deal. It's really not a big deal. Plus, as we've said many times before, Microsoft can buy Sony with like the shit that falls out the hole in their pocket.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, like you really can't say that Sony's kicking ass. Sony's kicking ass. I mean, somebody says that, and like Microsoft, I think, uses that like as a joke to start a meeting. Hey, Sony's kicking our ass. Someone pass me the fucking like donuts and the bagels. You know what I mean? Like nobody. Like it's a joke. It's a joke to even fathom that. So when you see the fanboys in the chat section or the fanboys come after you on Twitter and they're like, "Don't you realize you're on the losing team?" I'm like, "The losing team." Microsoft has like 650 billion to your 9. Like it's just like Microsoft's not even playing fair. They're letting you like kind of, you know, it's like a big brother letting your little brher like jot in front of you in a race.
Yeah.
And then at the end you trip them, you fucking give them a wedgie and run past them. You know what I mean?
Yo, I hate to go off topic right now. I hate to
go ahead, Wolf.
But I haven't turned on my 360 for a while, and I'm playing Lost Odyssey right now. I looked at the UI, and I realized that there's an activity feed just like the Xbox One.
Yeah, they updated it. It's got an activity feed, and it runs so smooth.
And I could see people on Xbox One, and I could see their gameplay, and I could play that shit. And I thought, wow, and I could like it, comment, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I'm telling you, man, the 360, for being over 10 years old right now, I think that it's just fantastic. Best console ever, I'm just going to say it.
Yeah. That's still a beast, man, I have to say. Oh, yeah, one more thing, Mooch. Before, you know, during the pre-show, you were talking about Casey Hudson. He was, apparently. What was that shit about?
Casey Hudson posted, he sent a tweet out just before we started the show that showed a cardboard cutout of Commander Shepard in the Xbox. You know, when you walk into Redmond office, the Xbox office, they've got that huge statue of, like, Master Chief and stuff. It's like a little square, and in that square they had a huge Commander Shepard, and he goes, oh, look, he goes, what did Casey Hudson say? Something like to the effect of, I don't want to quote him, but he said something like, how did he get in here? I mean, listen, you don't have a Microsoft, he's an executive of some sort. When they picked him up, they made it big news. You don't go putting something
Except for
there.
Brian McCaffrey tried to downplay it, like, why is this guy working on HoloLens?
Yeah, he's on HoloLens now.
I was like, no, guy, he's not.
Yeah, he's not working on just HoloLens. Take it easy, pal.
They wouldn't waste a talent like that on just
Why
one
is
thing,
Casey
man.
Hudson handing out tater tots at the Microsoft office? I don't know, IGN. Report next week. Like, these guys downplay everything Microsoft does. Casey Hudson is one of the... I don't think you can get a bigger pickup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, oh, that was huge. You know what? I hope they do have that third-party marketing because you can do. Hopefully, they've seen that last year you can't win the holidays on exclusives alone. You need some of those third-party deals as well, because those are what a lot of people get. You know what I'm saying? It's like Call of Duty, the Battlefronts, these kind of games. So yeah, Microsoft did do well with Halo because that's Halo. But you know, when you have the other stuff, if you also have, in addition to Gears 4 this holiday, you also have like a Mass Effect 4 or a you know, Titanfall 2.
Well, BioWare have confirmed that it's a multiplat, so I don't think it'll be exclusive. But
not exclusive, but you have to have the marketing right.
At minimum, they gotta have the marketing rights and, you know, exclusive content at the least.
Yeah. So here's hoping for that. We're gonna close it out because we went long anyway. But this show was good, man. It was popping.
Yeah, it was
really
good,
man. So, I mean, sometimes we'll do a show and I'll be like, yeah, that was okay. But this was, I thought, a really good show. So it was really kind of smooth. But anyway, you guys got anything to say real quick before we head out?
You know I always do.
Yeah, who are you gonna shout out besides Foxfire and?
Oh, you be quiet. You always make fun of every shout out. You need to keep quiet. These people support me, and they actually support your ass. So be quiet.
And your girl Jordan.
Well, I'm gonna shout out who I want. You're gonna be quiet.
Yeah, and the Bloodborne Queen.
Shut up. Ladies first. Ladies first. Yes.
Gotcha.
MS Jordan, She-Wolf, and the girl Foxfire. Now for the guys, we got Grand Gross, Invader Gaming, Mr. Zombie Killer, Richard Cucumber. Yes, I said Cucumber, and that's right. Jeff Schultz, Black Tiger, Wrath93, Xbox Strong, and let me tell you something. You better watch your mouth, boy, okay? Jay Long, Hebot, Soapski, Bird Nation, and everybody watching Xbox Nation, and all my guys here on the panel.
Yeah, nice. Rock and roll. What about you, Iron Wolf?
All right. First of all, keep it Xbox and support Quantum Break.
There you go. Yeah, make sure you guys buy that. And the Quantum Break news tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in for that somewhere. Go ahead, Mooch. I know you got something to plug. You're on a goddamn pod.
No, yeah, I'm going to have Crossfire Podcast this Friday, 6 p.m. my channel. And I'm sure, especially after the Quantum Break, not just the trailer, but the good news and the backlash from the pony community, the stables will be open tomorrow night, folks. So tune in on Friday night.
Absolutely. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for you guys for showing up and all that stuff. Really good show. I love it when it flows like this. And thanks for all the support on the channel and for you guys for supporting like everybody just in general in the community. It's really appreciated. Make sure you guys keep it Xbox.
Hey,
and
do me a favor, Crap. I'm sorry you're doing your exit, but I feel so bad. Shout out to Jay Williams. He goes, nobody shouts me out. I'm destroying my Surface. I'm throwing it out the window. Shout out to Jay Williams.
Shout out to Jay Williams, man.
Jay Williams, if you guys want some kick-ass graphics like the ones that me, Mooch, and Iron Wolf has, just go ahead and look up Jay Williams Graphics God on Twitter, or he does it. He's very reasonable.
Check out any of the videos on my channel. His links and his website are all on the end of all my videos.
He actually did. He did my banner. Yeah, he does.
Exactly. I was gonna say.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just gonna say quickly. The production values in his work is off the fucking roof.
He also does.
I highly recommend this guy.
He did all the artwork for the BGST shirts, which you can see the Redbubble link in the description of the video, and you can check out all his work. And he has a cool site, and man, he does really great work.
And so. I will tell you guys that, and I can vouch because I do have a BGST shirt, and I also got Xbox Nation shirt coming too.
Well, unless you get one with Crap Gamer pissing on a PS4, that's the one. That's the one everybody wants to see.
If you could see my finger right now.
And with that,
unfortunately,
Crap! I was gonna say that if you go to E3, you should wear that T-shirt of you pissing on the PS4.
Oh, I would love to run into Yoshida just like Tim Dog did in the elevator. Apparently, Tim Dog and Southbound ran into him in the elevator. And just kind of laughed or whatever. But, yeah, that's a story for another day. We'll catch you guys next time, man. Make sure you guys rack them up. Keep it Xbox.